Okay, good day everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Today we're going to discuss the ISMS project. This is a kickoff for the ISMS project, ISO 27001. And what I will be doing is just explaining this project. Who may be interested in joining this project, what kind of benefit he will get if he join a project like that, and then talking about the project phases, different milestones, and according to our meeting today, I think most of you will get to know if this is the right project for them or not. So ISO 27001, it's actually the most common and most important information security management system certificate that most of the entity, government and private and financial and so on, is looking to get. I don't know if you're aware of this certificate. This is a standard certificate, and any organization or any entity who hold a certificate like that, it reflects that those people are following the right standard and compliance when it comes to the information security. So it's a very important asset. And right now, and from my experience in the market today, a lot of entities are looking to get such certificate. And actually, they are looking for people who are willing to help to implement the ISMS in this organization from scratch to be qualified to get certified. And I will explain why. So our agenda today, actually, it's not a very long meeting, it's around 30 minutes, and we have like 10 minutes of, in case anyone have question. We will discuss the ISO 27001 project, the importance of this project, and why I'm encouraging people enrolled in my courses to join a project like that and get some real life experience. We're going to talk about the objective, the implementation, the benefit that students will get if they join a project like that, the tasks that they will be doing, and then we're going to have like 10 minutes in case any one of you have any question. So, as I was saying, ISO 27001, it's one of the most powerful certificate for information security management system. And actually, let's clarify or let's distinguish between the ISMS and the certificate itself. ISMS, actually, this is the name of the systems that you're going to learn how to implement it in any organization, which stands for Information Security Management System. So if you implement an ISMS in any organization, you will be qualified to get ISO 27001, or maybe you will be following some or complying with some of the standard or government requirement in your country. So in any cases, most of the country right now are implementing ISMS to take the certificate or maybe to comply with some regulation or some government requirement in any organization, in any business or any type of activity. And this is quite important. Let me clarify this concept more. I live in Dubai here, and here in Dubai, for instance, they have a standard, a government standard that all government and semi-government organizations need to apply. It's called the ISR, or Information Security Regulation. Now, if you check the standard, it's completely similar to the ISO 27001. And according to that, gentlemen, if you just could mute your mic so we will not have any interfering, that will be great. Okay, someone just, okay, great. Thank you. So maybe you are implementing the ISMS, not just to get the certificate, but also to comply with ISR. In Abu Dhabi, they have another standard. It's called NISA, which is also very similar to the ISO 27001 requirement, which is the ISMS also as well. So in Abu Dhabi, they will look for that, government and private business. In Saudi Arabia, they have something called CITC, and so on and so forth. Even in Europe right now and in US, they have their own information security standard, which is mapped with the ISO 27001. So my point is, if you learn how to implement ISMS, it's not just to get the certificate to your organization, but also if you are following any compliance or any regulation, you're going to know how to do that realistically. So this is quite important. ISMS is not, implementing ISMS is not just to get the certificate. It's to understand how to implement information security in any organization from scratch. And this is very, very important. It doesn't matter if you're going to end up requesting the certificate or applying for the ISO certificate or not. Maybe you are just doing that to comply with some of the rules and regulation in your business. So this is actually the first point. Second point, that you will not just learn how to implement an ISMS in any organization, which is implementing the information security standard in different domains from scratch, but also you're going to learn the audit part. How can I know that what I have been or what I implemented is right or wrong? So this is also a very useful program or a very useful project for people who are taking audit programs or audit trainings. They will know how to do that realistically and how the audit report will look like. This also will be covered in our project. Now, the main reason I decided to allow some of the candidates who join my program to get involved in a real project is just to get or to move from the theoretical part to, I'm sorry, I think I miswrote theoretical, but you are getting the concept. From the theoretical knowledge to the practical knowledge. So people, for instance, who are studying the CISSP, it's the most valuable information security certificate in the market today. I know how to get people past the exam, and my success rate is quite high. But I found that getting certificate, it's not enough. It's only a piece of paper if you don't know how to implement those knowledge in a real environment. So for people who are taking the certificate, maybe you are already in a job and you are very stable in your job, you are not looking to change your job, but you are taking a certificate and you need to understand how this terminology and how this concept is getting implemented in real life. This will help you a lot. Also, I invited people who are enrolled in different career path program. This is a very good opportunity to get involved in a real project, okay? To get to know the real milestones, the real documentation, the real steps, the challenge that we are facing. So I believe instead of just giving definitions and just giving theoretical explanation about topics, let me show you how we are doing that in real life. So this actually was one of my objectives, to let people move from the theoretical part or the theoretical knowledge that you are maybe aware of to the practical part, realistically, how it's done. So what exactly we are going to do in this project? Of course, this is a huge project that going to start within 3 weeks. And this project actually, I will not expose any confidential information. I'm just going to teach you the process, the procedures, the different milestones. I will get you involved in all the steps, but for sure, I will not share anything confidential related to the project. So what exactly we're going to learn, or what are you going to do in this project? The first step we're going to do is something called gap analysis. What is a gap analysis? We will get the ISO standard, which consists of different domains. So ISO, again, to simplify the process, we will not talk about certificate right now. We are talking about a project that will be used for implementing an ISMS in a big organization. So let's take it from this perspective. I'm going to teach you how to implement an information security management system in the right way in a large organization. The first thing that we're going to do a gap analysis, or sometimes we call it gap assessment. What is a gap assessment or gap analysis? Is that we're going to get a list of all the controls that need to be implemented from the ISO standard or from the ISMS standard. You will get to know for access control, which is one of the domain, what are the controls that need to be in place. So they will be qualified to apply for ISO 27001, or at least they have the right control in place. The network security, the risk assessment. We're going to talk about each controls, and then in real life, when you go to any organization, you need to check what is implemented and what is not, because some organization may have some control in place. They don't know it's an information security control, but it's in place. So you don't have to do anything about it, but you just need to write it in the gap assessment report that control number X and Y, it's implemented, or it's not implemented, or it's partially implemented. And this is from where we're going to start to understand what is implemented and what is not from the ISMS, and according to that, create an implementation plan and discuss how it's going to be implemented. The second point that you will learn in this project is the risk assessment. Risk, it's a very, very big topic, and actually is the main core of any security solution. You need to start with the risk assessment. What risk those people have? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and they do not have any real risk. Maybe the risk that they are facing is not that much. So we need to evaluate the risk and according deciding what control will be implemented. This is very, very important. And now let me also confirm that it will not be just theoretical explanation. I'm going to show you the real templates that we are using. I'm going to show you a real risk assessment, how you are calculating the risk, how you are mitigating the risk, what is the risk acceptance. So it's going to all be realistically. It's like you are really joining a project. And this is actually, it's quite important, because when you see real document, of course, critical information will be moved from there, but you will get to know what is the importance of this step, how it will affect the upcoming steps, and so on. Then I'm going to explain to you the implementation plan. According to the gap assessment and risk assessment and creating a risk register, I'm going to teach you how to do an implementation plan. Man, I have a lot of spelling mistakes in this presentation. I'm so sorry, guys. I just did it on rush. So implementation, even it has a spelling mistake. So please forgive me for that. We're going to also talk about information security policy and procedures. We're going to talk about awareness. So a lot of real steps according to the same order we are doing in a real project will be done in this project, and you're going to be involved. It's not that you're going to just be learning or just be watching. No, I'm going to give you some assignment to do, but there's going to be some good benefit from that. So those actually are like main milestone in the project: gap assessment, then risk assessment, then risk register, then implementation plans, then information security policy, and then the internal audit part. After doing that, we need to see one more time, going through the gap assessment and check how many control has been implemented and how many control are left. And the point here that I would like to clarify, it's not a technical project. I mean, if the ISMS was technical project, that's it. It shouldn't be any problem. Just implementing a firewall and installing an antivirus, and that's it. It's not a challenge. The challenge is you are involving business and you are involving different department and different user. People need to be aware of the policy of the organization. You need to make sure that people understand what is incident management, to whom they should report any incident. This is the real challenge that we are facing in such project. You do whatever you do, and then the external audit will come to check the control implemented, and accordingly provide the certificate to the organization. They will sit with user from HR, from finance, from operation. They will ask them, the user know nothing. They ask them, if you have any incident, to whom you should report. They don't know. Do you have any awareness program? Did you attend any awareness? Where is your risk register? People do not know anything. So the challenge is not in the control implementation, is to teach people in this organization their role and responsibility. And I think if you reach to this point, to understand this point and to know how to do it right, it will be a very, very big value that you can gain from a project like that. This is actually a very good opportunity. I'm not getting project like that every day. Every couple of years we are getting a project like that. So it's a very, very good opportunity to get involved in something like that. As I was saying, the ISMS project, or the ISO 27001, it's a set of controls. Access control, password policy, incident management, risk set of controls, right? Now, here are the domains and the number of controls that need to be implemented. Not all of them is applicable. So, for instance, domain 8, which is related to developers and system acquisition. Maybe the organization don't have in-house developers. So this control or this domain with all its control is not applicable, for instance. So we're gonna just talk about the implemented control. Most of them, by the way, are applicable. But what I'm trying to say, it's not like we have 133, so 133 need to be implemented. No, sometimes some control will not be applicable depending on the organization activity and type of business they have. So we will cover a lot of domain. You will get to know about security policy. You will get to know about the asset management. It's a very, very important domain. How to asset, what is an information asset register, how to ask department to write one and teach them how to do it. Physical security, communication and operation security, access control. If some of you are taking different training, things like CISSP or maybe SISM and so on, you will notice that the same terminology are there, but just explaining the definition. But here you're going to get to learn the same concept, but in a realistic way. So those are some of the domains that we are talking about. Now, as I was saying, the project will consist of different milestones. And those milestones will help you to identify each phase of the project. So it will not be, we will not be working in parallel. No, we're going to finish first explaining the gap assessment. I'm going to show you how it's going to be done. I'm going to show you how to identify the control, how to check the real control, what you should do when you set up with any department inside your organization or the organization who's requesting to implement an ISMS. What kind of question you should ask to be able to identify the gap between the implemented control, the partially implemented, and the not implemented. And then what should be the recommendations that you should write, because this gap assessment need to be sent to this department so they can fix the problems that they have. So I'm going to show you how this phase will be done. It's a very, very critical phase. Then we're going to do an internal audit. I'm going to show you how to do internal audit to make sure that the department took the gap assessment seriously, they took action, or they plan for an action. And then we're going to talk about risk assessment, different type of risk assessment. We have two main type. I'm going to explain both of them and in which case we should use any one of them. How to create a risk register, with all templates and all documents that you may need, actually you're going to end up, if you're going to join this project, you're going to end up with a very, very good set of documents, real documents that will help you if you get to work in a project like that, or even if you set for an interview, you at least you saw the real steps, the real documents, the real milestones. So it will be quite important. And then we're going to do the implementation plan. There is some technical step in between. I will explain them to you. Maybe you will do it yourself, or maybe you're going to get someone to do it for you, but you will get, or you will get all the knowledge, technical and non-technical. The project itself is not technical, but there is some step in between. Like, for instance, firewall audit. Maybe you are not a technical guy. You can get someone to do that for you, and I'm going to show you the result. But also, I'm going to give you a brief about it. You know, what is a firewall audit? What is many technical point, but most of this project is from a business perspective. So you don't have to worry if you don't have that much of technical background. Even things that will be like gaps or things that will not be clear for you, I will cover it for you. I will explain it to you by detail. Again, you will get some task to do. If you involve in this project, it's not that I'm going to just give an online training and that's it. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, if you need to get involved, I will give you some assignment to do. Maybe creating a policy for something, checking for some policy template, creating an awareness program, something like that. But definitely, I would like some involvement. It's not like I need your involvement in the real project. Definitely, this is not my purpose. The project, it's going in its own way, but I just need your real involvement, because one of the things that I was thinking about is to offer people who are going to involve in this project a letter of experience. I think this will help you, that you were involved in a real information security project. So I can issue a letter of experience for people who get really in the project with real involvement. This is going to be one of the benefits. But the most benefit you will get here is the real experience that you will get. Okay, you maybe saw this access control in any of the trainings that you took, but realistically, how we are doing that, what we are looking in any access control, in the access control domain in general, what is access control review, how to check, what evidence you're going to ask the user if you are doing an audit for it, something like that. So I think the real benefits that you're going to get is the real life experience from this project. So last point going to be the communication channel. Now, I didn't decide about that yet. Should I create a WhatsApp group only for this project so we can communicate easier? Because actually, I didn't decide how many days we're going to meet. It's going to be every Saturday, one day every 15 days. I didn't decide yet. I will let you know for sure. But we need to have a stable communication channel. So I was thinking to create a group on WhatsApp and Facebook just for the project, just for the people who are involved in this project. Let me know your feedback about that. And do you prefer to have it? Because I was doing that for a lot of training, but it ended up with a lot of groups on the mobile. So it's I need something very effective. This is going to be a project. It's a 3 months project. So I want to get the most of it for all of you guys. So this is the ISO 27000 project. Now, feel free if you have any question. Okay, I agree. WhatsApp may be better option. So Imran, I'm consider both of them. So I can have the WhatsApp and the Facebook. So anything that will be posted here will be posted there. Because also the problem with WhatsApp, if someone recently joined, he will not be aware of the history. While in Facebook, he can get all the history. Okay, so we have like 10 minutes for question. Please feel free to. Okay, we'll do that, Jeff. Again, it's an option. The project, guys, is an option. Whoever feels that this project will add to him will be an additional value, that will be great. If someone feels that this is not the right track for him or he's not interested, it's fine. So I'm just sharing, and actually I'm going to do that for some of the upcoming project by the beginning of next year. So it's okay. It's not something related to the training itself. My objective was that if people can get benefit from that, because it's not something that we are having every day. Okay, that's why. Okay, so now let's take a few questions. I can see a lot of them. Just give me a second. Okay, if we're going to create a WhatsApp, I'm going to send you an email with that, with the number that you will send a message to join. So I will not request your number, but I'm going to share with you the WhatsApp number. I have a specific number for that. Okay. What is the requirement for what? Actually, for this project, nothing. You just need to get to be involved in one of the training. I mean, this will not be a training program. So if you are like enrolled in the information security career path, or if you are enrolled in the CISSP program or something like that, this will make sense. But if you are not, it will not help you, because I will not explain the basics. I will translate the basics knowledge that you have to a real knowledge. Imran, regarding assigned task, the task will be assigned only if you need my feedback. I mean, for instance, I'm going to explain the gap assessment. I'm going to show you how it's going to be done. Okay, but you're going to have to do your own. Okay, so if you have a document, if you need to take my feedback about something you did, a gap assessment, a discussion about something, you are confused about one of the controls, something, you can send it to me. But I will not request gap assessment or any kind of task in the project, except the ones that I spoke about in the end of the presentation. Like, for instance, awareness. I may request you to create an awareness program for the employee and check how you're going to cover something like that, or policy and procedure. In this case, I will create a mail for this project, and I will tell you to send me on this specific email. This is for Imran. Okay, Ayman. Thank you so much, Ayman. You know, it's a pleasure to have you. And of course, you can get involved. Inshallah, it will be something to add to you. Christine. As I was saying, there's not going to be a channel to send your assignment, like a task or something like that. It most probably going to be by email. And what I'm going to do, I have, most of you, I think, or all of you have access to the student portal. So whoever do an assignment, and actually it's quite special or some effort is showing, I will put that on the student portal so other students can check the assignment, and they, you know, we can share the knowledge and the way each one did his assignment. I think this will be a good approach. Okay, Jeff, I will also create a Facebook. It's going to be WhatsApp and Facebook as well. I don't think we have other question. For beginner, is this project will be useful? Definitely. Okay, Muhammad Sabr, let me clarify something for you. Getting involved in a project doesn't mean that after you're doing this project, you can do your own. I mean, when you get involved in this specific project, it doesn't mean that you can write on your CV, I can do a full ISMS myself. But you're going to get some experience somehow. So you may get experience in, for instance, in gap assessment, you may get experience in risk, so you can write that as skills in your CV. So even beginners people, if they have the basic knowledge, it's fine. You will get to learn some part of this project. You're going to be a project member, not a project manager, but a project member. So I think it will be useful. Okay, Ahmed Al-Tayyib. Thank you so much. You have a question? Ahmed, this is a big question. Okay. I got you the questions that you are talking about, internal and external audit. Now, in ISO 27001, we have different phases. Actually, this certificate get to be renewed every 3 years. And usually we have an internal audit every 6 months, an external audit every 1 year, and a renewal audit from an external party. External audit, it's a different story, okay? You know, and different kind of like channel. But you're gonna get to learn the internal audit part to check, you know, what has been implemented, what control is implemented, what is not. So you will learn the internal audit part, but external audit, I don't think this will be covered in this training. Okay, Muhammad. If you don't have a good technical background, again, maybe 20 or 25% of the project will be a little bit tough for you, but doable. Again, I'm going to explain the technical parts that you need to have. But again, whoever implementing that, not necessarily that he came from a technical background. He know the basic technical knowledge, but it's not that he have to be a developer or a network administrator. You don't have to worry about that. Imran, actually, the information security specialist is considered an ISO 27001 project. CISP also are the same domains, almost the same domains. So any information security track will help you in the ISO 27001. There is some lead ISO 27001 implementer and auditor training, but actually I don't suggest. It's quite boring and theoretical. Now you're going to take the training in a realistic part. Yeah, the deadline for this project will be within 3 weeks. I'm sorry, 3 months. We're going to start by beginning of January. We're going to have another meeting before end of the year to start discussion the first milestone, but it's a 3 months project. So you're going to get involved 3 months. But anyway, even if you cannot get involved, all lecture will be recorded, and I'm going to make it available for our team. Okay. Thank you so much, Wali. Not necessarily that you have experience with ISO 27001. You will get to understand all the domains during our discussion. I will discuss with you a lot of document with all of you guys. So I think you will get the training within the project itself. Okay, I think we covered everything. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for attending. No, I'm sorry, one more question from Muhammad about certification. No, we will not offer any attendance certificate or something like that. I can offer an experience letter in case you are really involved in a project, that you did some assignment, that you were involved in a way or another. But if you are just watching the lecture, I will not be able to provide something like that. Okay, so thank you so much again. It was nice to know that people are interested in project like that, and if things went good and it was successful, and as a project the involvement was useful for people, I may consider repeating that for different kind of project. Because actually, besides the knowledge that we will get here as a standard and controls and compliance and so on, also you will get to learn some of the tools as well. We're going to explain some of the tools DLP tools, data classification tools. So during this project, you will get to learn also about some of the tools that we are using to close some of the controls. So I think it will be useful in your experience, in your real life experience. Okay, thank you so much. It was great. Let me know by email or WhatsApp if you have any comment or if you have any suggestion. I mean, I have a plan in my mind how things will be going. It will be fine-tuned during our process. Hopefully, we will end up with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of real-life experience, and it will be something to be added to your knowledge and background and skills. Thank you so much and wish you all the best.